Today on
Uh,
Nova Legends podcast, we're going to talk Herndon soccer with two of my favorite Hornets, Enzo Fontana. Did I pronounce that right, Enzo?
Yeah.
Okay. Enzo was a right back, enforcer, long thrower. Just had a great couple of years. I love what he was doing out there. And then Gelo Basilio. Uh, Gelo just kept scoring goals this year. Would take his shirt off once or twice after he scored a goal. Played some left back when the team needed it. Did whatever the team what the team needed for them to win. Just had great years. Both of them are starting James Madison in a couple weeks. Guys, good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
no, thank you, Mr. Brown. We really appreciate the opportunity
Yeah.
and, looking forward to talk about, the season.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys are dying to go on because I've been having all these McLean people on for a while, and we've been hearing their stories. So I'm sure you guys want to get the Herndon story out there. So let's start with the fact that high school soccer is over. You guys are very fortunate in that not only did you play high school soccer, but you played on great teams. I mean,
Hmm.
there are no teams I know of that play in front of the crowds that you guys got a chance to play in front of, and just the incredible games that you guys played. A rivalry like McLean is something you'll be thinking about the rest of your life. The games that you won, the games that you lost, the struggle, the good times, the bad times. I don't think you'll ever forget those moments. And I know I think about every moment of my high school basketball career, my last season. And we got knocked out in the first round of districts, but I'll never forget those runs. And I have a connection with all my teammates and also my competitors from those years. How do you guys feel when you think about your competitive soccer career being over? And I'm sure you'll play club or intramurals or whatever. But how does it make you feel that you guys had an incredible career, but those high school days at least are over?
Yeah. I'll go first on this one. So, yeah, after that Cosby game, it was definitely rough, not only for me, but I'll bring up one person, Andrew Tunley. He was our left back. He definitely had some tears, but so I remember on that bus ride back, we kind of were just talking about the whole game and how it was going. And personally, for me, I don't know. I didn't feel sad. I felt like accomplished with what we had, but I wanted that last piece to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I know I'll be with Jello in the fall and hopefully the more years to come. So we'll definitely be playing soccer together for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you,
Um,
Joel?
ju- yeah, just to add on to that, I feel like when we lost against Cosby, man, I just like sat down on the field as soon as that whistle blew, and I don't know, I didn't know how to feel. Like I didn't know what I was feeling. Like Enzo said about Tunley, like we saw the tears in his eyes, and like I felt his pain, and like the whole team was hurt. But at the end of the day, it didn't really hit me till maybe like a week after. Like I was like, wow, like high school's over. But then I was like thinking about how much we accomplished, and I'm just grateful for it.
Yeah, I mean it has to come to an end. It's so tough because there's nothing. And I mean, again, I don't think your soccer experience was normal. I don't think many soccer districts are like the Liberty. I don't think you have the kind of energy you guys had at your games. That's going to be something that's hard. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but
Hmm.
those special moments is hard to duplicate. I don't think you can get that in basketball in some conferences and stuff, but it's something that's really rare, that kind of competition, coaches that are at each other's throats, players that are all over each other. I mean, every game was like it was drama filled, and you never knew what was
Yeah.
going to happen. It was just amazing. Well, we'll get to more of that. When you decided to go to James Madison, now you guys are probably in a similar situation to what my son was in, and you guys may have played against him. He was 80, 2022 grad at Yorktown, and he was a good player. There are places he could have played, but you got to make sacrifices sometime in life, if you can chase soccer and spend a lot of money with no guarantee you're ever going to make top 11, because these Division III rosters are just stacked with good players. So it may go your way, it may not go your way. So how are you guys able to make a intelligent, rational decision? Like, look, we're going to go to James Madison, we're going to get a great education, and and not chase a Division III dream, in Maine somewhere, and where we may get on the field.
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. I did talk to a lot of D3 college coaches, and I was actually about to lean to Mary Baldwin, actually. I was about to. But then after a lot of decision making and everything, I wanted to focus on really my education for real, and my academics. And JMU just offered everything, they had good educations, really good athletics, especially for soccer. They're ranked like 18th now, I saw. And I just feel like that was probably the best decision I can make for myself.
But they're good in everything. They're good in football, good in
Oh,
basketball. I mean,
yeah.
JMU's off
Yeah,
the charts.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Enzo? Was it tough to leave it behind and not try for Division III?
100%. I feel like as far as the recruitment process goes, I kind of was a late bloomer on that. But I also early on, I didn't really feel like college soccer was for me. So I didn't really put myself out there as much as other people did. And when JMU kind of came into my life, I have family around there. They're like 30 minutes outside of Harrisonburg. And Gelo and a couple other buddies on the soccer team are going there. I was like, I feel like that's the best place for me right now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, JMU is an amazing place. It's beautiful. Like I said, great academically. You'll be able to play as much soccer as you want. I mean, when my son Chandler, my daughter's at Madison, and my son's at UVA, and the first 4 semesters they won the intramural championship. And I know the kids they were beating, like Nathan Junn and Nate Woods from Yorktown, kids, all these kids from the Liberty are at UVA, and some play club. A lot of these great players are just playing intramurals or doing whatever, having
Mhm.
fun, because soccer dominates your life. When you're a high level player, you're always afraid someone's is gaining on you or leaving you behind. So there's always pressure to work harder, train to get better. And I think a lot of people enjoy just playing for fun. And maybe someone's getting better than me. It's not really the end of the world anymore. If I choose to
Yeah.
keep up, I can, but I don't have to do that if I don't want to anymore.
That's that's kind of the sad part of it. But for me, I've always been on the competitive side for sure. Like
Yeah.
if I were to go to JMU and play soccer, like I feel like I would strive to make that the club team at least. And I feel like the intramural, like as much as it would be fun, I feel like I don't know, I can't be myself out there. You
No,
know,
there's no slide tackling the
yeah,
intramurals, Enzo.
Yeah.
mhm,
No, I
yeah,
totally agree with Enzo. Like, especially like since high school is over, like I just want to focus on my academics and stuff, but I never want to leave soccer. Soccer is always gonna be in my heart, and I'm obviously gonna, try my best to join the club team for sure.
Yeah. Well, this might sound unbelievable to you guys. I was a pretty average point guard at Robinson, but at UVA, I played basketball all the time. And by the time I was in my mid-20s, I was probably one of the best guards in the city. I played so much, and I played at such a higher level after high school. I played basketball into my 30s, and I gave it up because you can get a lot of knee injuries playing basketball. But yeah, you don't have to give it up. It's just going to be a different environment. So I definitely don't want to bum you guys out. Well, let's talk about how soccer started. Who are your first role models in soccer? Who are the first people you wanted to play like?
So for me, I don't really watch soccer that much. That might come to a surprise, but for me, I started off as a winger. Um, and like just like an attacker, and I've always liked Manchester United. So Wayne Rooney was definitely someone I looked up to. Um, yeah, as I got older, I kind of just watched, slide tackling compilations and stuff like that, and I just wanted to be like those guys, to be honest.
Yeah. How about you, Joe?
Yeah. So growing up, I was actually I was an attacker, but then I moved to a center back, and then after that I went to winger and then striker.
Yeah.
But then who I looked up to, like I would watch, well, obviously my goat is Messi. I love Messi. Messi's my goat. But I would always watch Neymar highlights
Yeah.
because his highlights are amazing. He's just such a skillful player, and then I just want to do his like skill moves and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, his moves are really Messi. You can't really imitate him because it's just like quick and like these touches. Neymar
He's
actually
just
does moves that have names. Messi's moves don't even have
exactly.
names sometimes. It's just like Messi.
He
Um,
does whatever.
yeah. Well, let's get to your junior year. Um, so as I mentioned to Coach Steffi, um, so Chandler played against you guys. You guys would have been sophomores, and we beat you guys 4-0. But you guys were good. You had talent, but for some reason, that year was a very poor year for Herndon, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
why the record wasn't good because it was obvious you guys had good players, but I think you were last or next to last in the conference that year. It just didn't work. Um, your junior year was unbelievable. I mean, everyone knew McLean was going to be great. Gage had come back into the fold, and they just had a stacked lineup. And then you guys put yourself on the map when you beat them. All of a sudden, Herndon, who had nothing the year before, beat McLean. That was their first loss of the year. So going into your junior year, what were you guys thinking? Did you guys know you guys had a good team going into your junior year?
I'll go first on this one. I feel like going our junior year, a lot of people like doubted us, honestly. We felt like underdogs because we were such a young team. We had one senior on our team, and everyone else was juniors and sophomores and freshmen. But we knew we had the potential to be a great team. We knew we had so much chemistry because we all played for Herndon Club, BDA, Herndon. And I felt like that's why we worked hard. We didn't care what anyone said, and we just pushed through and had a great season.
Unbelievable season. How about
Yeah,
you,
for
Enzo?
sure.
Did you see that big season coming?
Uh, I don't know. For me, I always knew me, Gelo, and a lot of the other guys were always tight with like Max Volpe, Brandon Parker,
Hmm.
Pat Westfall, Tucker, like all those guys. And we looked up to them. Like you said, they were great players. And if their team played in this past season, I think they would have went really far. But yeah, I don't know what was up with that team. But they're a great team. And yeah, I guess like what Jello said, we had one senior. For personally for me, I did not think we were going to be that good, but as the games went on and we were winning a lot, and then that McLean game came and we wanted it bad. We knew they were going to be a great team, and think it was 3-2. I think we put two in the back of the net in the first like 10 minutes, and the rest is history.
So that was
Yeah.
the first moment you guys knew you were going to be good when you beat McLean. That's when you guys knew that you had a top team.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
I don't
Right.
remember how we scored those, but yeah, just like feeling that excitement of celebrating on the home turf with all those fans in front of this rivalry team. Like it was something else for sure. I like that's one thing that I wish I could get back in the future is those moments right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remembered when Coach Nick was like he knew the McLean coach, and he would always tell us how like their team he knows that their team is very solid, and like they're gonna come right at us if we didn't put our 100% effort into it. And I remembered that game actually. We were like we played I think it was a 3-5-2, and we were pressuring them like a lot. And I remember our goals were literally from I think our goals were from corner kicks in the first like 10 minutes. And then after we scored, we thought, 2-0 we're like good. Nah, we were not good. They came right back 2-2, and
Yeah.
then 0-2 finished it off.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
That must have been a good feeling. No, it's interesting. Lucho reminded me that McLean had put you guys out the year before, and I didn't realize that. And that was kind of the birth of the rivalry. But I remember this game. this was the first time I saw on social media. It was like people they were calling McLean rich spoiled kids, and you guys were going at it. And it was about them being rich kids. And this is something that was surprising because I never really thought of it. Um, that's something I didn't hear much of this year. The rivalries has evolved. It's more the teams know each other really well and it's physical. That element didn't come out, but I remember reading on social media, McLean was a bunch of rich kids. Do you guys remember that?
I don't
I
remember that,
never. Yeah.
but that I don't know. For me, that's something that like you can't really control. Like that's your parents, that's your family. Like
Yeah.
kind of keep it between the lines, keep it in the soccer community, and yeah, there's definitely trash talk now. Like it's a rivalry for sure. Next year you'll see it too. Like those kids will go
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was most of it was started. It came through Gage, my buddy Gage, but so I ain't involved. Well, anyway, uh, later on that season, it was going to come down between you guys and McLean, um, and in the district final, it was a huge moment. You guys were on a red card, so you're one man down, and it looked like it was going to go to penalties. Um, and O2 had an amazing goal. It was a counterattack. He dinked the ball over the goalie. And then he had that iconic moment that Gelo copied where he took his shirt off in the corner and the crowd just encircled him. That was a great moment. Tell us what you guys remember about that game.
I don't really remember much to be honest, but from my point of view, just rivalry perspective, I remember they we had a corner, and I'm typically one of the guys back, and I think Brendan was with me. And they kind of have this breakaway where the ball comes out of the box towards Gage, and I'm probably 5 yards away, and I already knew what I was gonna do before the ball came, and I don't know if you were there, you probably were there, and I took him out, and and I got a yellow for that, and my nose was it was all messed up. I think I broke my nose that game, and um, yeah, that's honestly that's all I remember. That's my highlight of the game, but that's all I remember.
That's a sad memory, Enzo.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of like it, but yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Joe? What do you remember about that game?
Um, I remember it was literally just a battle. Like we were going neck on neck, and everyone was just want to get the ball, just put it back in the net. And when Bilal hit it up to O2 in the last seconds, I saw him open, and it was a bouncy ball. I didn't know how he was gonna finish it because it came off the ground, and then he just chipped it over, and it just went right side net. And man, we all just ran towards him. It was crazy. It was a crazy moment.
Yeah, that was a great moment, and that got you guys a higher seed in the regional tournament. But it also gave you a mental. It increased your mental edge over McLean, and which
Hmm.
is which lasted even when you guys were a man down this year in the regular season. You still had an edge against them, and they didn't really break it until Luke scored that goal in the was it the regional? That was the district.
Yeah.
That was a regional
Regional
final.
final.
Regional final
Yeah.
because Jello won the. So, why do you think you had the mental edge over them, or do you think it was these games were just luck of the draw? It seems to me, and I went to all the games, that you guys would just find a way to win, and you guys had a lot of confidence that you'd find a way to win. Was that just me, my opinion, or did you guys really feel that way when you played McLean that you had the upper hand against them?
So that game going into was I guess it was extra time or full time was winding down, and Luke scored that goal. I just kind of had that thought in the back of my head, like Lucho's gonna do something, Bilal's gonna do something. Like we're kind of gonna get lucky. Like what happens most of the time. We're on home field. We got the advantage. We got the crowd. Like we're just gonna win this game. Um, sadly, like that didn't happen. And Luke, he's gonna be a great player. He's gonna be a junior, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's gonna be good. And I remember after that game, I went into the locker room and I kind of packed my stuff up, put on my hoodie, and I went right back onto the bleachers. It was just me. later I'll talk about Gelo, but it was just me and I watched them and I just loved, I don't know, I needed to see them on my field with the trophy and everything to kind of give me and my team like a wake up call, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt. I saw them all taking pictures and with their
Yeah.
shirts off, the trophy and everything. And like I wanted that to be me. And with I don't know, yeah, it's just heartbreaking, but that's my main memory from that night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For me, there was a lot of memories because I was dealing a passing with my grandpa,
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
and yeah, and so that gave me a lot of, like I wanted to play the game for him and my teammates. And so when I scored that game, I remember Titus always like he went up to me and he was like, "Man, how do you always score these goals?" He kept asking me, he's like, "You always put it in the back of the net. Like I don't know how. You're just always there at the perfect time." And I was just like, I don't know, it's just God. And then moving on, that's when I got moved back to left back because I had to stop Joe. And then it was, he's a great player. Joe is a great player, and it was hard to guard him. But I tried my best until Dante headed it in, and we thought we had the lead. I thought we were gonna win it, and because I think there was 2 minutes or 5 minutes left, and then Dante just headed it in to tie it, and then we were down a player, and then as soon as Luke got it, he just upper 90'd it. I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, it just hurt, and you know, watching them, get the trophy,
Yeah.
and I don't know, like, because we always played against them every single time, and we would always come up with the win, but that, like Enzo said, that was really a wake up call for us, and
When you
yeah,
look back at the McLean rivalry, though, is that the game that's going to stick in your head, or all the times you've beaten them? Is that the memory?
um,
Yeah.
I would say the rivalry. Yeah, that was definitely it because then they finally beat us because they needed to beat us.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like that's when the rivalry was like, this is seriously a rivalry. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I'm for me and I'm definitely a lot of the guys, I'm definitely gonna focus on the accomplishments, the 2 district titles and the 1 regional title. But I mean that game will always be in the back of my head for sure. Like I want that one back
Yeah.
till the day I die. I'll definitely want that one back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Enzo, when Enzo was talking about him in the bleachers, he Snapchatted me like a picture of him in the bleachers, and I was still in the high school, and I just went to the bleachers with him and just sat with him and just look at the field and be like, wow, this is really our last like home game, and I was like, wow. So yeah, that was really the wake up call.
Yeah. One thing about that game is it's an incredible amount of talent on the field. So many great players on the field. But in terms of center backs, you've got like three incredibly quality center backs with Nicky, Brendan, and Dante. When I
Hmm.
watch that, the teams play, I'm just like, man, these are three legit center backs at a high school game. And it really does influence the whole game when you have that kind of physical presence in the middle of the field. What did you guys think about Dante? In terms of,
Uh,
from my point of view, he's just a warrior and just finds a way to win. But how about as a competitor?
well, so from aside from soccer, I remember he was at Herndon for a couple weeks. He was in my history class, and history was never my my good like I was never good at history. So he sat across from me and I remember him helping me out and I was just kind of talking to him about soccer and how well we were gonna do as a team. And he seemed like he is a great guy. Like a lot of people say the opposite, but from my point of view, I think of him as a great guy. And if he was on our team, like we would have loved him and we would have, looked up to him, which,
Yeah.
some people might see it as like a bad thing or whatever, but like he is a warrior. Like he's a great player, and all those McLean kids definitely look up to him. And when he scores, like the game, it turns into like a real game for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I remember, so I actually knew Dante for a while. We actually played basketball together when we were little, and because he used to go to South Lakes, and then he went to transfer to Herndon, and then I remember seeing him in the hallways. We like dabbed up each other, and he's like, "Man, we're gonna have an amazing season. Like, we're gonna bring home the state championship." And then later on, he transferred to McLean, and then we were like, "Ah, like like having him in Herndon would have been, it would have been great." But playing with him on the field and sharing the field with him, it was a great experience. Like I would always I always talk to him during the games, because me as a striker and him as a center back, he's just guarding me, and it was no bad blood between me and him. It was just always a great battle, and we would always shake hands after the game, say like good things to each other, just talk, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
Do
the
you think it was
field,
fair? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Enzo.
yeah, on the field, it's definitely different. Like when Brendan or Nikki would mark him on corners, I would obviously be on like a shorter guy, so I would kind of like poke at him, try and get him mad, try and get like a him to foul someone.
Yeah,
But like after the game, I would text him and be like that was a great game. Like you did a lot, and you kind of like revived your team. I would say because I
yeah.
don't think McLean would be McLean without Dante for sure.
It's so interesting because all the players do that now. You guys all communicate. Like you were talking to the Cosby kids after you played. When I played sports, you had no way of knowing how to get in touch with your competitors. Sometimes you played AAU, but AAU was a very small thing back then. So we'd see them on the pickup court a little bit in basketball, but you weren't really in contact with your competitors. When you see them, you know them and you dap them up and stuff. But that's one thing about today's game that's cool, and that you play your game, you go at it hard, but after the game, you guys have a lot in common. You're both high level high school soccer players, and there's a lot to be said for that. Do you think it was fair when I made Dante the player of the year of the area?
Honestly, like he's done a lot. He's accomplished a lot of things. Honestly, like I think there's no debate into it. Um, I feel like if Lucho didn't get injured, I feel like he would have been the player of the year.
Yeah,
But other than that, I think Dante, I think he deserved it, in
yeah.
my opinion.
Oh, thanks.
He
How about you?
also, yeah. So if he won the state championship this year, he would have had two rings with two different teams, which to me is like mind blowing. Like I don't know how someone would be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously other people, and like Gelo said, if O2, Lucho, like they never got injured, they would have definitely got it. Or Joe, Dante, any of those people honestly would have been fine with me. Obviously, I want a Herndon player, but those other guys are on the top of the charts
They
for sure.
deserved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it like to be a high school soccer player at Herndon? I mean, since it's almost like a football team. That you have you have a big crowd. So do people? Does it raise your profile within the school? Are you guys big man on campus because you play soccer? Is that the way it is at Herndon?
I would
Um,
say, yeah, a little bit, yeah, because our, we're like, our how we're doing well in the season. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the soccer games. Like, we want to see them play and everyone, and we just like texting all our friends, telling them to come, and you just see the audience is just full packed. Like everyone's watching us, and it's just always a great feeling. And yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
yeah. I played football all 4 years of my high school career, and it definitely matched the stands were definitely packed for sure. And I would say as far as in school, yeah, a lot of kids would come up to me, Jello, O2, Lucho, Brendan, Nikki, and they would like ask them when the next game is, like who you're playing, like you
Yeah.
better beat McLean, beat Westfield, all these great teams.
Oh
It's
my
good.
gosh, yeah.
It's good to know that you have that kind of following in your school and in your community to kind of pump you up and get the job done.
Did the little players that would practice on the fields next to the main field ever ask for autographs?
No, no. They wouldn't, but I remember after the games, like when I scored that district final game, a lot of little kids went up to me and like asked for pictures. That's all I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I remember I remember Coach Nick telling me when he went back to practice the next day or something, my junior year, all these kids were like saying my name as they were trying to slide tackle each other. And it's like a great feeling for me. But yeah, after the game, when Gelo took his shirt off, I remember seeing all these little kids with their shirts off too, trying to take pictures with him. It was funny
Yeah,
for sure.
it was amazing. It was a
Yeah.
great feeling.
Yeah, I'm glad I was there I'm glad I was there to see that. Well, you mentioned Coach Arzani, Coach Nick, a great coach you guys that 1 year. It was coach of the year in the region, deservedly
Mhm.
so. What, what, how did you guys take it when he decided to step down, and not coach this year? Was it a difficult moment?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard different stories from our athletic director and Coach Nick, but overall, I would have liked to see him as our senior year coach. I've known him, me and Joe have known him since, we started playing
Yeah.
soccer for Herndon. Like he's the director and he always comes up to us and tries to have a conversation and we're just like, kind of building our connection with him. Um yeah, I mean, with him, like the difference between him and Jordan, it's like Coach Jordan, he's more of like a fun coach, but he'll definitely get on you when you're not doing what he wants you to do. But with Coach Nick, he'll like engrave his name into your brain and you'll always remember him. Like if you're doing something wrong and he's not looking, like you'll make it right for sure. Like
Yeah.
it'll make you feel like he's always watching you and he wants the best for you.
That's great.
Nah. Yeah, I agree with Enzo, but I would for sure say like, Coach Nick, not coaching us senior year, like it it hurt us a lot, but we knew that, we can overcome like anything. But Coach Nick, he was a great coach. Like he was definitely one of my role models. He taught us, a lot of things, a lot of good things. And I remember, I would never forget, like I like I was really bad at corner kicks. Like I did not know how to do a corner kick. Like it was so funny. And that one practice, man, he made me like take off my cleats, my socks, and just practice corner kicks by myself with barefoot.
Mm.
And and after that game, that was actually preparing for the McLean game because we did not have a corner kick taker. Like we actually did not have one. And I was a corner kick taker. And ever since that, I would never forget that moment because when I took the corner kick, we scored against McLean, I felt like accomplished. But yeah, Coach Nick was definitely a more like he's never gonna leave your head. Like
Yeah.
when he sees something like that you're doing bad, he's gonna focus on it. So then you make sure you don't do it ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you guys cognizant of the fact that Coach Jordan had a tough act to follow? Did you guys do things to try to make it easier for his transition? Because you guys had done so well the year before. He was coach of the year, and now Coach
Mhm.
Jordan, really nice guy, good coach as well, is coming in. Did you guys realize that you got to go out of your way to make things a little bit easier for him?
Um, well, so I was actually on the committee with O2 and we were choosing the coaches and there were four of them. He just stuck out. The other three weren't very good. So, I mean, coming in, I knew he had a military background. It was going to be tough for sure. Um, I didn't think there was anything that we didn't need to like lower our standard or anything for that, for him to come in. I think, I often tell people like we could have had a dad from like one of our dads be our coach and we would have had the same success. But, um, just having that person with the knowledge kind of helps a lot, like Nick, like Jordan. But yeah, I didn't think we had to lower our standards or anything like that for him.
Yeah. Well, one of the challenges you had this year was O2 was hurt right out. He had a breakout season his sophomore year, 2 years ago, the 23, and then I think he had an ACL or a knee injury, and he was out for the beginning of the season. He played the McLean regular season game, amazing game. He played about half the game, and then he played most of the knockout games, the elimination games in the postseason. But it was a different team without him. And then, when you insert him in the lineup, it's going to change things because you haven't played with him as much
Right.
this year. Tell us about that. Were you guys concerned that he wasn't going to be able to play at all this year, and maybe thinking that he would probably sit out the year because of his injury?
I would say so this year when we found out about the injuries with O2, we were like it definitely, threw a huge impact to the team. We would have to like change our deficit on, on the offensive end because most of the time, we would just, kick it up to him and then he'll do his magic and, he'll find a way to score. But now, like, we definitely like our biggest offense was definitely throw-ins. Like we Enzo throwing in the ball. That's how we found our goal most of the time. And we would do some passing, play throughout the back and just, try to find the forwards and pass it to Lucho. And then Lucho, he's gonna find a way to score or find the right opening to pass it to me, O2, Bilal, whoever's on up top and, find our way to score. But it was definitely, a huge loss in the season. It definitely gave us, like more momentum and like, to like work harder, even harder on offense.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, it was definitely tough. I thought he was out the rest of the season, but towards the end of the season, Lucho would kind of give me the insight on him. Like he's coming back, he'll be back. But in the meantime, like we just had to do our job. Like we wanted him, we needed him, but like we have all these other players that can kind of fill his role or try to fill his role, like Gelo, Lucho, Bilal, Andy, like all these like Rafa, all these up and coming kids, like those kids, they want their spot on the team and they'll work for it.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna come into the game knowing, Lucho, he'll score, whatever, will win. Like those kids will work their butt off to like get a spot and kind of make a name for themselves. Um, yeah, as far as the end of the season, it was nice having him back, but then, Lucho, that happened. So first we get one back, but now we lose one. So yeah, it was just hard. It was
Yeah.
a lot of feelings, and we didn't really know how to overcome it. So
Well, the fact
yeah,
that
it was just hard.
Yeah, well, the fact that O2 wasn't around and the goals didn't come easy, in some ways, did it
Mhm.
make you stronger because you always found a way to win and you never really knew how you were going to win. I mean, you lost to Robinson, excellent team. Um, but I think you only lost, you tied a game, but you only lost one or two games all
We
year.
lost to yeah, we lost to Westfield. That was
Westfield,
another
another really good team. So, I mean, without O2, you guys found a way to win. You'd be down a goal, you'd come back against Langley. I think you scored two in the last 2 minutes to come back, or something crazy. But
yeah,
in a way, did it make you stronger having to find a way without him?
For sure. I mean,
yeah,
like
100%.
there's a piece to the puzzle that's missing, and you gotta find the piece to it. And I think rather than finding someone else to kind of like fill that gap, we all kind of stepped up our level of play to fill the gap together. And like you
Mhm.
said, the Langley game, like that was bad. Like that team was not as good as we showed that they were better
You made
than
them
like
look better
what
than they
most people.
are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So yeah, that game, yeah, I mean, again, like a little Herndon miracle. I think the second goal that we had, the winning goal, I think I threw it in. That was probably the longest throw I've ever had in my life. It was like 35 yards out. I was like, I don't even know how I threw it that far. The Robinson game, that team was a great team, and yeah, I mean, the thing with the Robinson game was they weren't in our district or in our region,
Mhm.
so we kind of just pushed that one to the side. But it is a loss on our record, so
Yeah,
just gotta step it
I,
up from there.
yeah.
if I was gonna talk about the games, the out of district games, I would say the one I was most mad about was the Westfield game because we knew a lot of the players there because they were in our club teams like Darren's son and Vinesh, and we knew Ronald and like JP and all of them. And they beat us on our junior year, and they would always talk, smack, like they beat us and all. And I was like, this year, we're gonna come up like we're gonna win this. Like we were up 2-0, like everything was fine, and then they just came back, and it really made me mad. It made me mad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, they had a lot of quality in their lineup though. That was not a Westfield was by no means a weak team, and they had a
Yeah,
solid lineup.
for sure.
Yeah.
I was a little scared at first. When they played McLean, I was like, I think Westfield's gonna win this, and we're gonna have to go to Westfield, and like we've never kind of been in that situation away from home. Like going to
Yeah.
Westfield, it's gonna be tough. These kids are gonna be chirping at us the whole game. And then when McLean won, like no one, I don't want to play McLean again, but I just like the feeling of being at home. I didn't like away games. I like the home games, and like I said before, the crowd that comes with it. But yeah, and Gelo's girlfriend goes to Westfield too, so that was probably a big
Yeah.
part of it for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was.
She would always say like, "Oh my God, you better beat Westfield this time." Like, but
Yeah,
thank God she sat on our stands though.
no, exactly right. So, you guys, you beat Chantilly in the regional semis, and Lucho told me that game wasn't as easy as it seemed. You guys were up, then there was a rain delay, and they had the better run
Oh,
of
Madison.
play after the rain
Oh, was
delay.
it
Madison.
Madison?
I'm sorry,
Madison, right? Yeah.
Madison. It's a big difference. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that Madison team was a good team, and you guys held on against Madison and able to beat them, and that set up the McLean game. Um, as we talked about before, you lose some McLean, but you're still alive, and you're going to the state quarterfinals, which is great, and you play Lewis.
Yeah.
Now, I honestly think Lewis was probably the best team I saw all year in terms of the way they can move the ball and their talent throughout the whole pitch. I mean, I
Yeah.
thought they were just stacked.
100%.
And
No,
then
they were really good.
they're a really good team. I
Yeah.
mean, I think they're similar to Cosby, I think, in some ways. But a big moment in the game was when Lucho got hurt. How did that change the game? I mean, you guys were able to come back and win, but how did that change the game when Lucho got hurt?
Um, when I saw him got hurt, I was like, oh well, he was actually experiencing like a little injury even before the game. I think it started during the McLean game, the regional final. He was actually a little bit hurt, but then when he got injured that game, we were like, I knew in my mind, I was like, man, this sucks and all, but we just knew that, we just gotta do it for him. We gotta win this game for him. And, we gotta just keep working hard. But it was definitely a huge loss though, especially like coming up to the Cosby game.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, that Madison game was definitely tough. I remember going into the locker room, and like some kids were kind of just goofing off. That's kind of what
Yeah.
prompted it, to be honest. I think we came back on, and like the weather, I feel like the weather kind of had something to do with it, the way it felt outside. They put one in the back of the net early. And I think Lucha also had a little like someone put a tackle on him or something in the Madison game too, and then
Oh
carried on
yeah,
in the McLean game.
he
And
didn't play
then
the second half, right?
yeah. I got a little scared that time too.
Yeah. Yeah.
their
Then yeah,
midfield, Madison's midfield is good.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have the six. Well, he's a good player.
yeah.
And they
Um, what else? Yeah, other than that though, they had a couple other players, but yeah, that game shouldn't have been that close. And then McLean, yeah, that's whatever. And then the Lewis game. So that team, the first, I would say 15 minutes, pretty much the first half, they were running us down. Like
yeah.
we were on defense, I think the entire game. I remember we would win the ball, we would get it to Lucho, Wendell, Gelo, anyone, honestly. And then like 10 seconds later, we would be on defense again. And like when they would come down the field, like they were coming fast. It was like we had no time to set up. It was just
Mhm.
hopefully we get the ball out, and then just another chance to live. But yeah, when Lucho got hurt, um, Yeah, that was devastating, honestly. It took a lot out of me because I know that kid's a tough kid, and everyone knows that. And when you see him go down and he stays down, it's like, it's serious. And
Yeah.
then when he was on the bench, our trainers, they were like putting ice on him, wrapping him up. And I think we had like a little break or something, maybe halftime. I talked to him and he was like, dude, like, I think I'm done. And I was like, I don't know. It kind of brought like a little bit of anger to me, honestly. And because I know that guy, I heard that guy who injured him came on, like injured him and then came off. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just sad to kind of see that part of soccer. Obviously, it happens to everyone. Everyone's had like an injury in their life, or like Gelo's grandpa or anything like that. That kind of brings you down, but you just gotta overcome it. And I think we did a great job with that
Yeah.
game for sure. Coming back 1-1, uh, made it 2-1, and yeah, we moved on from that.
Yeah,
Yeah. On that.
go ahead,
Oh,
John.
oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
I just want to talk about the Lewis game a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. So I knew I started striker with Bilal up top. I'm at Bilal or O2, one of those two. I think it was Bilal. Yeah. I started up top, and oh my gosh, like they like their defense was really good too. They had I think Marymount commit defender center back. Yeah, they were just, I couldn't, like they were always like someone around me, and like every time I got the ball, and then I knew from that moment like we were getting, destroyed on defense because their offense was like insanely fast and skillful. So I knew I was gonna end up playing left back. And then I went back to left back, and then I like get in the field to defend these players, like they would just stunt, and then I was just like, wow, like I gotta put my A game, I gotta lock in. And then so the first half was sloppy for us, and then during halftime, Nate Butler, one of our he was our coach a junior year, our assistant coach junior year. He came to help out, and then he actually suggested the formation change in the second half, and that helped us a lot more in offensively, and then we were more in control of the game in the second half for sure.
What formation did you change to?
I think it was a one striker, so I think it was a four
Yeah,
two two three one, 4-2-3-1.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we were familiar with that formation. Me and Jello, Knees, Nikki, we all play that formation and travel with Coach Guillermo.
Yeah.
And we have a very adaptable team. Like we could play any formation. I think we do really well. But yeah, that was tough. I remember, like Jello said, they had a lot of great players on defense, offense, midfield. Their goalie, I think, was also pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Nikki scored, I think, that first goal, which
Yeah.
was it's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of laughing. I don't know how he scored
No,
that.
I don't know either.
And I remember towards the end of the game, as the season goes on, you build up these little injuries, and you kind of go to the trainer, you stretch them out, you do what you can. But that game, something happened with my hip flexor, and like I don't know, I was feeling bad, and I just knew that with Lucho out and O2 coming back and all these guys are fighting, like I just had to do my job. Um, with and then I think the go ahead goal was a throw in too, which was pretty funny too. But I remember I had no energy to go celebrate with the team. I just kind of jogged back to my defensive spot, and we had, I guess, I want to say it was 10 minutes left, and we would just get the ball, kind of kick it or go to the corner and just hope for the best, kind of shut those wingers down. And yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they just kind of unraveled the last couple of minutes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah,
I remember the exact play until you got hurt on. 'Cause I remember I was like, "Ooh, that one's going to hurt." And I remember you were limping the rest of the guy. I could see it because I was sitting right there taking photos. One thing I'll say about Lewis is it is a field that is built for Herndon because you got great center backs and long throw can kill them. So that's a great field for Herndon. and you have the size to kind of guard them on a large pitch. Lewis probably could have been really tough to guard because they're so fast and skilled. But you guys,
Right.
I think on a narrow pitch, even though they should be used to it, I think it does kind of favor Herndon. I have to say, I was really proud of you guys for winning that game. And I really like the Lewis team. I do. I watched them play. I love the way they play, but I was so disappointed. And when Lucho came out, the fact that you could win that game for him and win it for yourselves is too, that was really a special moment. And I remember I took a picture of your parents. And they were just so, I could see they were so proud of you guys that you guys had gone on the road, overcome the injury and advanced to Richmond. It was so great. So I want to talk about Cosby now. And I was down there for that game. I have to say Cosby's one of the best teams I've ever seen, high school teams. I've only been watching for 5 years, high school. But they have I think 4 or 5 Division I players, the Hayes brothers, Ryan, and then Evan, the midfielder. At least 4 Division I players, but they are so fast. What did you guys think about Cosby?
They're a great team to say the least. I remember I was watching the podcast with I think Evan, the Hayes brothers, and Ryan, and I remember Evan bringing up how I like DM'd him after the game, and me and Evan and Gelo, we played each other. I think Evan brought this up. We played each other in the I don't remember what it was.
It was the State Cup game.
State Cup game. And that game was freezing cold. It was at Brady Park right here where we practice for club all the time. That game was freezing cold. And I remember just kind of, trying to make him mad and getting his head and everything. And then when we lost that game, I remember texting him. I didn't text him anything crazy. It's just like Ada, Joe, Dante, like kind of just get in their head and just kind of stop Joe and Ada, and you'll be fine. The rest of the players aren't that good. But yeah, the Hayes brothers, those kids are like soccer, track, whatever they want to do. They were fast. Like,
bro, they got to run track.
Yeah. Evan, he definitely, with Ryan too, I think he was a midfielder. They definitely held it down. And we didn't really create much. I mean, obviously with Lucho out, like it was hard, but we just didn't create much overall. And they come pulling back in the back of the net pretty early, and that kind of, for us, I don't know, it's not that good. We kind of tend to go down early and, again, hope for one of those miracles, but obviously it's not going to happen with every team, and that team's, people will remember that team. I like to say that Ricky Bobby quote where if you ain't first, you're last. And it is true to me, because when people look back in the 2024 season, like no one's gonna remember Herndon, no one's gonna remember McLean, no one's gonna remember Lewis. Like they're gonna ask, who is the 2024 champ? And it's Cosby. Like,
Yeah,
that's it.
Yes, it's their year.
Yeah,
for sure.
How about you, Gelo?
I would say thinking about that Cosby game, everything, it was so hot, the locker room, like, oh my God. We went in the locker room and it was just like, it was no AC. It was like hot, we're all drinking water, Gatorade, trying to stay hydrated and stuff. And then we go to the field, the practice field, and, we're just like, the grass is so wet, muddy. And, it didn't, like that day it didn't felt right,
Yeah.
and then like when we went on the main field, I really felt the pressure, like I really did, and everything moved so fast, like I was just thinking about the locker room, and then next, we're just already playing already, they're calling our names, and my mind wasn't really focused until they like really scored that first goal, like just like that, and then that's when I turn on the switch, and we just, I don't know, yeah, Enzo's right about like, hopefully we get a miracle after the first goal they scored, but we just lost it.
Yeah, again, to add on with that,
Yes.
coming in there, I think Godwin High School or whatever it's called, just being away from home, a couple hours away from home, like it was hard for me at least. And for me, I tried to I definitely felt the pressure when we got there, and uh, I as soon as we got dressed and had our cleats on and everything, I wanted to kind of like get myself ready for this game because this could be the last game that I ever play for this team and just competitive soccer overall. And so I took a little lap around the field on the track and I was just looking at everything and I don't know, it just all these feelings started pouring down my in my brain and I didn't really know how to feel. It was quick. It was definitely quick. I never really had time to settle. And then with Cosby, they just kind of stomped on us in the first 5-10 minutes. So that didn't help at all either. We never really got comfortable. And I remember
Yeah.
the hotel too. Something was up with the hotel and like getting food and like I don't know. Like I'm not trying to get it like give people excuses, but like it's just those small things that kind of add up to the bad play or just the loss overall.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of felt that the game was similar to the Lewis game, and that Lewis jumped on you guys early, but you kind of in that game withstood their storm, and they really. And then the second half, you start playing better, and you're able to edge goals out like you always do. I felt like if you guys could have weathered the storm against Cosby, and the first goal, I think there was a throw in. I think it blew in.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think if you could have weathered the storm, you guys played much better in the second half. You hit the post one time. I think Atu hit the post. I mean, I
Yeah.
think if you could have, if the game would have been close, who knows? I think Herndon kind of finds a way to win those games. Obviously, you could have used Lucho. What difference do you think he could have had in the game? Now, even if Lucho was there, they're so fast, they still had an advantage. But you think you guys would have been able to play differently if you had Lucho?
100%.
Yeah.
Like for Lewis, they had fast wingers, and I think we had great like outside defenders to kind of keep them back. But losing Lucho, like I don't know, it's hard in the midfield because there's a lot of space that can be created, and when you don't have like that player that has as much knowledge as he does, like it really it sets us back a little bit. So I think Cosby definitely used that to their advantage and kind of went through the midfield, like the center midfield, not as wide as like obviously they have Dennis and Nikita to go out wide if they wanted to, but I think
Yeah.
the main way they beat us was definitely through the center midfield.
Yeah. If I was gonna say, we definitely needed Lucho. He would always put some magic on the ball, and especially when he has that when he has space, like he'll definitely get a goal or like contribute to a goal. And especially having the center, we also had to have Angel, take up that role, taking Lucho's role. He still did good, but having a young player, he's still a lot to develop. And but yeah, having Lucho would have been a lot more better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you took a loss. It's over as we mentioned earlier. In a very sad moment. When you think about the future of Herndon, I know everyone assumed. I was talking to the McLean kids. I think people assume that with so much graduation, so many kids graduating at Herndon, they're going to have to rebuild. What do you think about next year? I know Bilal is still around, and yet
Mhm.
you have some young players coming back. What do you think? Do you think next year? And I don't know if O2 is going to play next year. Does Herndon have a chance to be good next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. So it's I feel like it's kind of this similar situation with like Max and all them like I brought up before. Like they were a great team. Obviously their like schedule or their scores didn't kind of it didn't show it, but they had a great team and I bet a lot of people thought the same way about them with the next season. And I mean, look what we did, look what we have done. So hopefully, I
Yeah.
think personally with Andy, Rafa, Angel, Bilal, I think O2 is playing to answer that question. I'm pretty sure he is. Um, like I think we're gonna do great, and a lot of the teams in our district in our region, like they don't have that bond that we do. Like McLean, maybe Westfield, maybe a team that just comes out of nowhere. Marshall comes out of nowhere. Some team Langley comes back. Like there's always a chance of that. But to answer the question, I definitely think we're going to be good. We definitely have a lot of like building to do, but those kids have a
Yeah,
lot of potential for sure. For sure.
Okay.
yeah, yeah. In my opinion, I feel like, especially, with Rafa, like Enzo said, Rafa, Andy, Bilal, O2, Angel, like, and especially we have two tall center backs that should be, on varsity next year. We have Ethan and Brendan. They're it's another Brendan. His
I was
name
going to
Brendan,
say he's
right?
going to Penn
Yeah,
State.
Brandon.
yeah, yeah, another Brennan. Yeah, they're two tall defenders, and I see the potential for sure. These guys, they put the work in, they try to fight in for their spots. Having Rafa in the Lewis game, like he had to sub in, and he gave his 100% effort, and I've never seen him, actually like play how he's supposed to play, and it was great seeing that, and that's what made me feel like these young group of guys have a lot to develop and have so much potential, and in my opinion, I think Herndon's gonna be good. They're gonna be just
Yeah.
fine.
And I think when they notice that, all of us are gone, like they'll kind
Hmm.
of step up just with that kind of thought. I think just with that they'll kind of step up. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna come to a lot of the games during the
Yeah,
breaks. Um, yeah, I might hopefully we just sit on the bench, kind of teach them a little
You
something. But
yeah,
can
yeah,
have
they're gonna
long
be
throw practice.
yeah, yeah, they're gonna be a great team. Like
yeah.
you'll
Oh,
see,
yeah.
everyone will see.
Also, I forgot to mention also Eric Marenko is good too.
Oh yeah,
And his
for
and his
sure.
brother Brian is possibly going to play too in Herndon. He's a very good player. I wish he played with us this year. He's an amazing player.
Do you think there's a chance they could be as good as McLean next year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say no
Yeah,
to that. I'm not gonna
yeah,
say no to that question, but I think for sure.
oh yeah.
So they have Joe, Ada, who else? Will,
Luke,
Titus,
Luke, yeah, but
Titus,
uh,
yeah,
Will
it's just
Saxon.
gonna be, it's just
oh
gonna
yeah,
be like
Will,
every other year, like our junior year, our senior year. I think it'll just be another year of the McLean Herndon rivalry. Like everyone will
yeah,
see when it comes to that springtime that these kids will show up for
yeah.
sure.
Who scores more goals next year, Joe or O2?
You gotta say oh
Oh,
too.
I gotta say O2. You always gotta say O2.
Yeah,
Yeah, Joe was Joe was a scoring machine this year, though. Woo.
he is.
Yeah,
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 yeah. So
he's
he's a
gonna be
great
great
player.
at Villanova for sure.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, look, guys, this has been great. You guys were two competitors. I love watching what you guys do. You guys, as I said before, you guys made the most of your time at Herndon, at least on the soccer field, and obviously in the classroom too. You're going to James Madison. Uh, when your final thoughts? When you think about starting a new challenge at Madison? What are some of the things you're looking forward to down in Harrisonburg?
me personally, just the environment. I love the environment at JMU. Like the people, especially, like everyone's so nice to each other. And also, just like the sports too as well. I'm gonna be heavy on soccer, and just starting a new life, basically just a new chapter, and I'm just looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, it is definitely a new chapter. I think a big part of it is the setting. You're kind of in the mountains in the fall too. Like we're gonna be coming in into the fall, and it's gonna look nice with the leaves and everything, the colors. But for sure, what Jello said, the people are great there. That's another reason why I picked that school, and I think it'll be very easy to kind of build connections and friendships, lifelong friendships, hopefully with these other people. Sports, obviously, but yeah, like we have nothing to worry about, honestly. I think
Yeah,
as long as we just build connections early, I think we'll be just fine.
Well, I'm gonna give you guys, if you don't mind, the same advice I gave my son. I didn't give this advice to my daughter because she doesn't listen to a word I say. But when you go to school, everyone gets the hang of it after a semester or two. So, like if you look at everyone's GPA, their last 2.5 years, everyone does great because you get what separates people is how they start. Because a lot of people go to school and they go crazy, they just can't handle it. So
right.
my advice to students is go there, work hard. You're going to have fun your whole 4 years. But if you can really put the work in early, even do more than you really think you should early, because it's easy for everyone once you get going. Once you become a college student, you'll get the hang of it. But if you can just put the work in early, it just makes the rest of it go so much more smoothly. So you're going to do great, but just put the work in early, even if you miss a party or two and friends are going out, really put that work in the first 6 weeks or so. And then it'll really pay off if you can do that. Again, my daughter didn't listen to me, even though she did great. But my son really benefited from that. And he's like, Dad, you're right. Everyone does well after a while because they teach you how to be a good student, and you learn how to survive in that kind of high pressure academic. And one thing I'll tell you, the stage that you were in at Herndon, those high pressure games, that's going to help you the rest of your life because you've been able to take those penalty kicks, make those big plays. Enzo's case, make that slide tackle that saves the game. Those ability to deliver under pressure, those are lifelong lessons. The things that you're able to accomplish, those are always going to be with you. Those don't leave you. So a lot of your success on the soccer field, you're gonna see those moments paying dividends in college and beyond. So
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah,
know. I'm
hope
definitely
you don't
gonna
mind me
use
get
that.
on my soapbox for a while.
Oh, not at all. That was good.
Yeah. So, well, look, guys, this has been great. If I'm in town, I'll try to message you guys. Maybe we can meet up in person one of these days at Madison. Because I'll be there pretty often. I know you're busy, but I'll give it a shot next time I'm in town.
Sure.
Yeah, most
Go
definitely.
get lunch or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
For
great.
sure.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Well, look, hopefully I'll see you soon. Thanks again for doing this. This was great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Brown. Thank you.
Okay, guys, take care now.